So the difference between boards of advisors and boards of directors. The hallmark of a high impact board is that it creates value now for the company. So you can do that with a board of directors or with a board of advisors. It doesn't really matter. A board of directors has a very specific role that is defined by law that it has to comply with before it goes on to do anything else. That takes a certain amount of time. Board of advisors, on the other hand, has no power, but it does have certain role flexibility. So you find, it can start with a very soft advisory role and progress over time. And you find that, for example, for family businesses, an advisory board is useful because it can evolve over time as the company evolves its governance practices. The board of advisors, which has been established over time with directors that you know and trust, can be a good bench, a good source of directors for an upcoming or a new board of directors in a private company. So the key is the value creation. The hallmark of a high impact board is that it creates value for the company now. And it doesn't really matter if you have a board of advisors or a board of directors, either one can actually be a high impact board. The essence is that it's creating value. Boards of directors have a very specific legally defined role which they have to comply with before they do anything else. Boards of advisors, on the other hand, have a lot more role flexibility, so therefore they can move from a much more soft advisory role to a harder advisory role over time as the needs of the company evolves. The board members have theoretical power and certain liability. You want to make sure that you don't give directors who don't really have power, because power is very concentrated in a certain shareholder, the liability and the power that you may later regret that you actually gave them. But the essence is that the board has to create value over time, and that it has to be creating value from the beginning. Many clients that we work with, we actually set up what we call a hybrid solution, where members of the board of directors sit together with members of a board of advisors, essentially working together as a team. And when the board of directors has to make a decision, they do that with the value of the board of advisors' knowledge and insights at the same time. So it doesn't really matter, you can have a hybrid solution as well. What I think you should keep in mind when thinking about this issue is that if you walked out of your last meeting thinking that little or no value was created, something is wrong. Evaluating that board and thinking about what is happening and making sure that you fix the processes is something that is essential. And evaluating every meeting can actually help you make sure that your directors or your advisors, whatever they may be, are creating value meeting by meeting.